Hello and welcome to the Sideline Yarns Podcast, hosted by Henry, Ishan and Addison. Welcome Ishan. Unfortunately Addison couldn't be here today, but he'll be back, don't worry about that. Ishan, you got something to say first?
I do. So, as you guys know, we do have our sponsor, Budget Sports Co. If you guys would like to get cheap and affordable jerseys, we're talking NBA, NFL, NRL, football.
Even an Alex McNaught Breakers jersey.
If you'd like an Alex McNaught Breakers jersey, then head over to budgetsports.co and get use our code SIDELINE. That's SIDELINE.
That's
10% off.
Yep, 100%. Go get some
send
jerseys.
it to me and I'll bloody sign it for you.
Mate, yeah, that's the one. But yeah, first of all, we'd like to introduce our second ever guest on the podcast. Welcome to the New Zealand Breakers development player and Tall Blacks guard, Alex McNaught. How are you doing, mate?
Good mate. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm glad to be here. This looks like it's going to be a bit of fun today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. What is your favourite movie? Come on, get it.
What's my favourite movie?
And why?
Okay.
A bit of an icebreaker.
Yeah, a bit of an icebreaker.
Let's start
Let's
things
get
off
it.
nice here.
So I'm going
Get
to split them into two series actually.
Okay, I like where this is going.
One is Star Wars and one is Harry Potter.
Put it there.
That's retro.
So Harry Potter, I will be the smartest man in the room in whatever room I'm in for everything Harry Potter. You can try it.
Addison would have loved to be here. He's a big-time Harry Potter fan.
He's a big Harry Potter fan.
You screwed up, Addison. And then Star Wars, I'm really into it now. It took me a while, but we don't speak about the sequels.
Yeah, you like the first three or like the second three?
I'm a prequels fan.
Okay, for sure.
But the originals are the originals, so I will 100% stick with the originals. But I've gone very deep into Legends. So I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that sort of stuff.
You played the games, Battlefront?
Yeah, I played Battlefront. I've played Jedi Fallen Order. I'm still waiting on Jedi Survivor to come out. It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan.
Fair enough.
Right. Yeah, well, of course you've very talented at basketball. Let's start with that. But not many people know that you also represented New Zealand in water polo. Is that correct?
That's crazy.
Yes,
Talk us to about that experience, selection, and water polo in general.
That was my original love. I'd say every person in New Zealand was like rugby first, that sort of thing. And I was rugby through to 13, but you don't really count those sort of sports as your love until, you're playing after preschool, primary school, all that sort of stuff. So water polo was probably my first love. I played goalie because I was far too lazy to do
goalie.
I'm not really big into water polo.
Yeah, I'm not.
I've never done anything.
So think. You've got handball. You guys seen handball?
Yeah.
It's handball in the water.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
You're floating the whole time. You don't go down, but you're just swimming back and forth. You're passing the ball with your hand. You can't grab with two hands, and you're just trying to shoot.
You can't grab the ball with two hands.
Only I could because I was a goalie. So goalies can take it with two hands, but everyone else is just one.
Saving it must be the most difficult part in the game.
There's some.
It must be the most difficult thing in the game.
I would say that as a goalie, but I can definitely tell you it's not the hardest part for some of the field players. They'll be like, that's ridiculous. But
because obviously they do a lot more meters in the pool, I guess.
A lot more. They get a lot tighter. And the great thing about water polo, I think, for especially people young, is that you've got to sub off. You can't play a full game.
Really?
You get far too tired. So if you're a bench player, you're getting on. Unless you're incredibly deep in the bench and you're playing it at like a higher level, you might not get on. But
because obviously the higher levels probably they're fitter. But
you're looking at high school premier level. We had maybe two people that didn't get in sometimes, and the rest, everyone else plays. Like you've got to rotate your people, so it's a good sport to get into if you just want to have some fitness. And I'd say it's the hardest sport in the world. So
you reckon?
Yeah, you don't really understand
physically.
Anything goes under the water. That's why it's such a good. That's like as a goalie, you can't go within the 2 meters of the goal unless you have the ball. So. If the centre forward, which is kind of like your post player and like your five, you try and throw it into the five so they can try and get a back shot, a front shot. It's the easiest shot to get on the goalie because it's closer and much harder to block. But if they're inside that 2 meter, I'm grabbing. I'm grabbing their legs. I'm drowning them if I can. Like it's a wicked sport. It's a little hard to watch though because you don't get to see all that stuff underwater. But it's great to play.
Building on the whole water polo, you said in the interview a couple of years ago that you were both playing basketball and water polo at a very high level during your college career.
Yeah.
What drove you to pursue basketball over water polo?
What was the big decision?
So for me, water polo stopped just because I wouldn't say I fell out of love with it, but it was. I got to a point where I was like, I've got to go to training for water polo, and I don't want to do this. I just want to play.
Right.
And that was in my final year of high school. When you don't want to train for something, you're never going to go very far in it. I wanted to go to college for it.
I was going to actually just say that. Were you considering that?
College for water polo was huge in my mind until I fell out of love with it, and just the idea of going to training just daunted me. And then I was like, well, this isn't going to work. And basketball, I'm thoroughly enjoying. So, why not just put all my eggs in that basket now and just take a few more out of the water polo ones? So
yeah. Your first memory of basketball, like, is when obviously you're playing basketball and water polo at the same time. Was that when did you pick up basketball? Like, was it because obviously you probably played? Yeah. Did you play it all the way through and then decide you were going to go pro in it? What, I
played basketball. I started end of my primary school years. I played netball first.
Fair enough.
I've been through a lot.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I've been through the ringer, man. I played netball and I was like, I can't dribble. This is boring.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, I'm playing defense.
You
half
can't
the
move.
time.
You can't move. Yeah. Well, you can move, but you can't move with the ball.
I mean, it's a great sport. Don't
It
get
is
me
good
wrong.
fun.
It's high level and really tiring. But basketball, I was like, yeah, this is cool. So I played that, and I was all right. I've never been the best player in my team. I can say that pretty confidently, which is funny.
It's not always the big thing,
Yeah.
though.
I find it's a good thing, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I find that
There's
too.
more to learn from your teammates.
Yeah, I
especially.
reckon.
Yeah.
Because obviously role players go a long way, as you know, in the NBA and
Yep,
stuff like that.
for sure.
Like, you don't even have to be the star. Obviously, the star gets not even all the praise, but some of the praise. But
Yeah.
you can go a long way and just be that guy that plays defense.
Does
Yeah.
his job and gets
You know?
his job done right,
Yeah, so for me, I mean, that's sort of what I've been following my whole time. But for basketball, I really thought, this could be something after. I played under 17s for Auckland. I finally made my first A team.
Was that your first A team under
That was
17s?
the first A
That's
team
like-
I made.
That's crazy. It's not that actually early.
I got Auckland D team my first year, Auckland B team, Auckland C team, and then Auckland A team. So that was through the under 15s. First year under 17s I was B team, and then I finally cracked that A team, and I got chucked on the bench for a whole season all the way through till just before we started going to nationals, and we were at qualifying. And I'd been playing in our Prem basketball team, which hadn't been great. Like
At
St.
Kent's?
Kent's was kind of we were kind of tragic when I got there.
I saw that actually. I heard that.
We were a non-premier team. We weren't even we were open grade, which was the one below senior A.
That's what we're in. That's what Howard College, because me and Ishan went to Howard
Yep.
College.
Yeah.
We've been in open, and we've been trying to
Yep.
get into senior A. We
Yep.
came second, third this year.
Yeah, so we were in open grade as well.
Yeah.
So that's my first year was that. Then our second year, when I was year 10, which was the year before I made it into the under 17 team, we made it to Prem. And Kyle Robb, who is a St. Kent's legend,
Yeah.
who was a huge influence on me as a young point guard, just as a brain player. He came back to coach a bit as well, but he got injured, so there I was playing 40 minutes as a year 10 against all the premier teams, which was huge for me in terms of development. I was terrible. I think the most amount of points I scored that year was like 3 in a game, which was 3 free throws, which was 6 free throws, because I wouldn't make 2 in a row, that's for sure.
How was the pressure like? Because obviously you're coming in year 10.
It wasn't too, like, we weren't meant to be winning too many games. The games we were meant to win had a little bit more pressure on me, but like we had a defense called Alex. Like,
Really?
it was just, we played a box.
Yeah.
We played
Yeah. I know what that is.
the box, and then it was me, and I'd just guard every person on the court. I'd be running between whoever got past the ball.
So you were tracking the ball.
I was tracking the ball the whole time, which is ridiculous. It's a terrible defense, but at the same time, it somehow worked because
you just run.
I just had the
Fair
energy.
enough.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
I like that worked. But then year 11 happened, and that's when we came third at nationals, which was just a crazy step up. And I mean, you got to give
Because
props to Aaron.
yeah,
the
I was
coach.
just gonna say Aaron Young, obviously a great coach, and I assume he'd be one of the biggest influences on your basketball
Yeah,
career.
for sure,
100%. What
Yep.
was he like starting off? Because when did you first what was your first experience with him? Was it year 10 or?
No, so I joined the same year as he did, so year 9, and we
Yeah.
had a camp before school started, and I remember just thinking, this guy's got, he's got a lot in him, but like,
Genius.
He was a genius,
Yeah.
but I'm sure he'll understand if he somehow listens to this.
Well, we're going to get him to
That,
listen to it. That's
yeah.
what we're going to do.
For sure.
If he listens to this, I'm sure he'll understand and know that he wasn't great in the first year. And I say that in terms of he came from the Breakers,
Yeah.
and we were kids. So
Right.
he was a lot of
What was he doing at the Breakers?
He was doing video work, and he was also flirting in and out of the Tall Blacks, and he had a lot of connections within those groups. So he was doing everything at a high level. And I think his first year he struggled because, well, he didn't struggle, he was fine, but I think it was difficult for him because he'd just been working with professionals who everything is expected of yourself, and then there's certain levels to being a professional that's just expected of you, and then more that the coaches will do. Whereas we were no expectations, so the coach had to do a lot more, and I think there was that missing part, which in the next 2 years he'd learnt, fixed and mastered in terms of how we could try and get our team together as a working unit. So
What was the nationals? The first nationals that you won? Was that year 12? Or
that
year
was
11?
my year 12. Year 11
Right.
we came third. We lost to Rosmini by 24 in the semis.
Yep.
That was brutal, but then Rosmini went on to win the final by 60, so it didn't feel
So
as
that's
bad
not as
afterwards.
yeah.
That's outrageous.
Which going back on it, it works for me because the next year we ended up beating Rosmini in the final by 24 in the same jerseys. Everything worked out. It was just kind of poetic for me. So
What a moment.
Yeah.
it was a great
It was meant
turnaround.
to be.
And winning the national championship for me is probably still my highlight of my career
You
so
reckon?
far.
Still?
Just in
I can
terms of it's
imagine.
my biggest achievement winning wise. I haven't won
yep.
anything.
Especially with the pride of the school as well. Like,
Oh yeah, for me, watching the growth of the team from open grade to national champs in 4 years, you don't see that very often.
Because you're a senior at this point as well, so you've really been through a
Yeah.
lot. So.
Yeah, so and then obviously COVID happened the last year for me, so nothing really happened in that year, and that was an interesting one, but we'll get onto that, I'm sure.
A couple of people that we know actually. I know George. You know George Turner, obviously.
Yep, I know George.
George Turner and Caleb Maddinson as well.
Yeah, Caleb.
We know
Gosh,
both of them. Yeah, but they're obviously George is in his final year now, I think.
Yeah,
But
he'll be going into his final year.
yeah, so St Kitts, that type of basketball, the difference between that basketball and obviously the Nelson Giants, which we'll get into soon, the difference between that, like how's the transition? Was it a massive gap, or was it actually smaller than you thought?
So now that I have perspective of Giants to NZNBL level to Breakers level,
Yeah.
and the NZNBL level to high school level, I can sort of gauge what the jump was. It wasn't so much of a jump in terms of. No, that's a lie. No,
Did you grow as a player? Was that the thing?
definitely grew as a player. So 2020, COVID happened, and the showdown happened in Auckland, and I was still at high school, but Josh Bloxham got injured for the Giants, and Mike Fitchie was like, oh crap, we need a point guard to fill in because we can't have Tyson running 40 minutes out on the point guard. So he went to Aaron. He's like, yo, do you know any point guards that could fill in for the next 3 weeks whilst Bloxham gets back from his concussion? So Aaron sent me up, and I played. Well, I ended up earning a spot in the team, so I kicked one of the boys out.
Is that how you got into the
That's how I
Giants?
got into that Giants team the first time.
It's pretty crazy.
It's a good story.
Yeah,
It's a
story,
great
yeah.
story. In every story that I have about getting better is just someone else got injured, so it's sort of taking advantage of situations. But
That's how you look. That's how you
That's
live
a
that.
good
yeah,
thing,
it's a great thing for me, not so much for everyone else, but it's a great thing for me. And so I did reasonable there. I got my first taste of guarding Tall Blacks, like Jordan Nata, who ended up
Yes.
being my roommate for the whole
I
Tall
was
Blacks
gonna.
tour.
Yep, I have
Sure.
heard that. too.
And then Ruben Tarangi, who I'd also met already because Aaron's great close mates with him. So the guarding time.
It's just different. It's obviously different. Like obviously guarding people in high school and guarding people in NZNBL. It's complete because you're guarding men in the NZNBL. Was that the biggest difference? The physicality? or-
Physicality is exactly it. So the physicality was so much different. I remember getting out of my first game, and I went over to one of my friends who does a bit of managing and coaching, Kat Willis, and I just go, that hurt. That was sore.
Brutal.
The thing I noticed, I was doing all right on the defensive end. Offensively, I'm still developing, so I wasn't really expecting too much of myself there. But the thing I noticed is you don't get as many steals because people are a little bit more, onto it with how they dribble, when they dribble, where they pass, and that sort of stuff. But if you can contain, you're doing your job perfectly fine. Like, if they don't score, you've done your job well. So even if you don't get the steals, you just have to make sure you can rebound at the end of the possession. So for me, our team didn't do well. We came last. So the Giants.
Well, you've changed now. That your last season was
we had a phenomenal
another level
last
from
season.
what it was before.
Yeah.
The difference in that team.
The difference between we had a year in between that as well, where we had a couple incredibly talented imports, but I'd say one of them was incredibly toxic in terms of the team, which is probably he led the league in scoring, he was up there in assists and everything like that, but I think he averaged 7 assists and maybe passed the ball 8 times in a game, so that's probably why he averaged that many. But we had a learning year when we went back to Nelson, which is the year I went down to Nelson, played for free, worked a second job, just because I wasn't getting paid down there. So
is that the first year that you went down there?
That was the first year I went down there.
Out of college? Was that the first year out of college?
After high school, yeah. And I didn't have a great year. I think that one for me was a learning year for what it's like to live on your own, but also what it's like to have to take care of yourself. Like
yeah.
You gotta start learning to cook. You don't have mum there anymore.
Yeah.
You've gotta.
I think that leads on to advice for young athletes, and especially young Kiwi athletes. How are you able to manage the transitions and the steps in your games over the years?
Well, for me, I think the biggest one was that year when I went down, in terms of managing myself and learning what it's like to be a pro. And I think the advice that I got out of that is you've just got to have a bit of patience for yourself. Like, you're not going to be, if you've come from, for me, if you've come from cooked dinners and not really doing your own washing to living on your own and having to do everything like that, it's gonna be brutal. But have a bit of patience for yourself, and know that you're gonna learn. And once you do, that's good. You got to start making it a process and making that very normal. And then once you've got that normal, you can start focusing on everything else.
For sure.
Was your parents a big influence in you going down to Nelson? Did they support it? What were their thoughts on it, at least? Because obviously, the traditional person out of high school would, if you didn't want to be a professional athlete, you did uni or a trade or something like that. You didn't? Did you want to do that? Was that a goal or?
So I'm not sure if we're going to chat about my college recruiting process or not, but I've got a great story when it comes to that.
Well, then go for it.
Okay, so for me, I wanted to go to college, as every aspiring basketball player wants to, because college is, everyone's biggest dream. You watch March Madness and you're like, sweet, this is the way to the NBA. This is the greatest basketball. This is cool. We go to college, get to go to America, everything like that. And for me, it was the same. I was like, I really want to go to college. And I thought for sure, my last year, I got my grades to a 3.8. I was having a great academic year. I was having a great year in terms of basketball. I just played my first professional games and kept myself amateur, and everything was looking great. And I think me and Dad, so Dad is huge in terms of just supporting me in basketball and everything. But we sent 500 emails.
Wow.
And we may have got 10 responses. Wow. So that was a slap in the face for sure.
The quality of, obviously you thought you were good enough, and you probably were, because I know some of the people that have gone over.
Yeah.
But is it what they're specifically looking for? Is that the problem, do you think? Or is it just the way it worked out and the luck of the draw kind of that?
I think there's a bit of both.
Bit of both?
Yeah. So for me, now looking back on it, I'm like, all right, first of all, you just got unlucky for the fact that people didn't look at you for the right things. I might have presented myself for the wrong things. Like, there are things in my game that I know I'm in the very small majority of people that can do those sort of things.
Yeah.
And there are also things that I'm definitely needing to work on, and things that colleges want. So for me, I was like, all right, I'm going to set myself to a D. I'll try and get a D2 that will actually pay for me to go over.
Were those all D1?
So I had a couple D1s that I wanted to go to, and one that actually talked to me, and then that sort of fizzled out, which was one of the 10 emails that I got back, which was why it was so problematic, because I got that first email back from a D1. I was like, I'm not taking anything lower than a D1. What the hell?
Yeah.
But then I sort of set sight's a little lower because not everyone plays D1, and you can work to a D1 because you've got 4 years of college. So for me, I realized, what, maybe my type of basketball isn't what American basketball would work out to be. And looking at it, I'm really not the sort of player that's going to play in America. It's a very ISO heavy game, less teamwork. I wouldn't say lower IQ, but it really is lower IQ basketball. It's less,
it's just ISO.
Yeah, it's ISO, pick and rolls. Can you score out of the pick and roll? Not can you hit the short roll and have a cut and a slide on the other side. It's those sort of things. Like I play a lot better in a team orientated. I will set up my teammates better than I'm gonna cook a one-on-one with a guard. Like, I can do it, but it's not gonna be my first preference. I'd rather hit the open corner three and make a ping pass. Like,
for sure.
Those sort of things aren't really what I think American basketball's about. And there was one college, there was one college that reached out and they're like, yeah, we really want you. We think we've got a good team going into next year, and you're the sort of point guard we're looking for. And I go, sweet. So I go to Aaron. I go, Aaron, can you get me some tape on these guys? I want to know what they're like, because they think they've got a little bit of potential for me. And so I grabbed some tape of it, and it might have been the worst basketball I've ever watched in my life.
Was it D2?
It was a Division 2 team playing in. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember, and I probably shouldn't name drop the college, because that's not a great look. But
because then we get in trouble.
So I would say my high school team, the year we came third, would have played better basketball than what I watched on that. It was so appalling.
That made your decision easy.
It made my decision very easy, and also sort of threw me off wanting to go at all. And I spent another year with no money down in Nelson, thinking, maybe I might get something after this year, just in case, and to keep my amateur status. And I went, all right, sweet. Maybe not after that. So once I saw that, I was like, this is not really where I want to be. And if there's a chance to get a development player role at a NBL team, that's the second, third best league in the world. So for sure, that's the way I want to go. And after I decided that was the only thing I had on my mind. So that's where college sort of disappeared out of my mind.
Yep, not fair.
So obviously, let's bring it now to the Breakers. They've had a great start to the season. What is your favorite thing about the Breakers culture and your favorite part of the season so far?
Even about the season as well, like what? Talk us about it. Like it's amazing. I've been a fan since we've been winning championships, like probably like you. But it's just great to see like the culture and everything.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting one, because for me, I too was a huge fan of the Breakers growing up. I can remember stuttering with my words. I haven't told Tom this actually, but I remember stuttering with my words and actually not getting any words out when I was trying to talk to Tom Abercrombie at the sideline of one of the games I watched.
Fair enough.
Because he was just my all-time favourite player, and it was just buzzy. I walked into the locker room on the first day, and I saw Jarrell, I saw Barry, I saw DP. I was like, whoa, shoot, what do I say? Do I say anything? Do I just sit in the corner? And I saw Tom. I go,
that's even the bigger one.
Sat there awestruck.
Yep, it was a starstruck moment. I was like, I don't know if I want to talk to these guys. So I literally just went to Isaac Davidson, who I'd talked to before, and Jaden Bazant, who I'd talked to before, and I went, what's up, guys? So, now what?
That's cracker.
But so I mean, for me, the novelty of being part of the Breakers is something for me that I can't sort of put above anything else. Like it is up there in terms of one of my favourite moments of my life so far. In terms of the Breakers culture, as it should, for sure. In terms of the Breakers culture, I think Modi's done an incredible job.
100%.
in bringing us back to, well, first of all, we've gone back to Kiwis. Like, we've got more Kiwis than every other team now, whereas Taipans in the southeast Melbourne last year had more Kiwis than we did, and we're the New Zealand Breakers. It was a bit of an interesting one, but this year we've gone back to Kiwi roots, and also we've just pulled together a bunch of good people. There isn't a person in this team that, like Hunter Hale in my Giants season, where just toxicity sort of eeps off him. So for me, it was like, okay, great. Like, this is the sort of environment we want to be around. And Modi, the first thing he sat us down and said, we want to be the best defensive team ever in history. And
you're on the way to do that, mate.
It's
By the way,
an incredibly tough thing to do, and we're locked in on that. We had a slip up. We were at holding teams to 72 at one point, which is just ridiculous. We're at 80 now. Teams' offenses obviously are getting better throughout the season because you start to learn more how to play with each other. But like we're really on track to try and
what is the best defensive ever? Do you know?
I can't remember what the exact stats were, but I think Melbourne United might have had it last year.
Was it like 78 or something like that? You think,
or
a little bit?
It was in the 70s. And that's a ridiculous feat, and they were an incredible team last year. So trying to chase that sort of greatness is what the first thing we said, and the second thing that was said is that we've got people in this room are just a bunch of good people that are great at basketball, and that's what we've been put together for. So when that first meeting happened, I already knew that this team was going to be something special. Whether or not we did well at basketball, I didn't know yet because it was my first day with them and I hadn't seen any of them before. But I knew that if times got tough, that's what we're going to do. And like last night, we showed it. We're a bloody tough team. We may not have scored in the last 2 minutes, but we got the job done.
Yeah. But I think another big thing is that you're right in saying that the people is actually an important part because obviously, but like the culture of it is important because you can have all these good players, but if they don't fit as a team, it's pointless, right? And especially the coach as well has got to be on the same page. And by the looks of it, obviously this season you're all on the same page, and it's good to see at home. You can see the intensity that you guys are bringing, and it's good to see from a fan's point of view. But I mean, what is the goals this year? Like obviously to win a championship, but how do you think you're going to do that? What's the main aim? The defense, the offense, obviously.
Yeah. So we obviously went on a stretch of three games losing in a row, and as much as I don't want to give ourselves excuses or anything, but we lost to Perth, which was on us. Then we lost to Sydney, and then we had that 2-week period without a game, which really did throw us off our game. And we went into that Jack Jumpers game with a hunger, and we played really well. I wouldn't say we played really well. We played with the right intensity, but we didn't get the job done. We were kind of out of form, but we sat down and took a look at ourselves, and we went, all right, where do we win games? What is it that wins us games? And we look at the defensive end. We look at just how structured we can be. Like we probably have the second most players in the league, maybe, behind the Jack Jumpers, who are just a well-oiled machine when it comes to this is what we're doing, this is the X's and O's of it. And also they play very similar to us actually now, like very physical, defensive orientated, but incredibly structured. Lots of split actions that you just have to keep going through actions with them. So it's a tough team to beat. I think we won this. Yeah, we won the season series 3-1, but that's definitely a tough team, especially for a second year. They're doing a great job down in Tasmania. But
good win that one in the away game with the clappers.
That was.
I was off my seat on that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, that was a great game to be at. In terms of just the chippiness on the court was, it was awesome. But just pissing off crowds is just one of the all-time favourite things. just knowing we had about 7 or 8
fans,
10-year-olds sitting behind us on the bench.
That's class.
And they just got these clappers, bang, 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 throughout our timeouts. And then you just see them turn to us, flipping us off. And we're like, you're 10-year-olds. What are you doing? And then all of a sudden, it's just like, what? And then I remember it was just post the whole scuffle that happened.
Yeah, on
with
the floor.
With Isaiah, Barry, and then Modi came on and saved Isaiah from throwing a punch. It was awesome. It was exactly what we wanted because we just trounced them, and now they're turning to fighting. Like this is what we wanted.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And then we got to the side and we were huddled, and then all of a sudden this bloody clapper comes flying, hits
Who did
Barry.
it
Hit Barry, and Barry just goes, "What?" Turns to the crowd and looks to find it, and the dude didn't show himself, but I found him later because...
Did you find him later?
I found him later because he was putting his hand up because the security guards were coming. He got a lifetime ban from the Jack Jumpers game.
I hope so.
But Barry, after it happened, just started absolutely mouthing off to the ref about the fact that they just had something thrown at us, and we huddled up because you don't want to mouth off to a ref. It's a terrible idea,
especially the Australian new NBL ones.
Especially Australian NBL ones. I'm not going to say what I was about.
You'll
to say.
get a fine.
I'm going to get a fine if I do that. Not to do with the refs, I swear. It's to do with Barry. But we might have to cut that one out, boys.
Yeah.
We're but yeah, so post that getting thrown and post Barry just getting mad, it was just a great feeling. Like, as much as something had been thrown at us, the crowd is against us. It's exactly what you want to do when you go into another team's building. You just want to piss off their fans by winning a game.
For sure.
And the way we did it was it was perfect. Like, it was so poetic. Like, we beat them in the physicality battle, which is something that they try and do to everyone. They're almost dangerous with some of the stuff they do. They start checking people at half courts, which is allowed, but sometimes you check them too hard, and you can hurt someone. So it sometimes gets a bit dangerous. But credit to them, they do what they do, and that takes people out of the game. So I can't blame them for it. But that was a poetic game, and I think that's a great rivalry we've got between them. I think.
On your debut for the Breakers, the debut NBL game, I assume you played a preseason game. I'm not sure about that. But the first NBL game, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix game, obviously with the what's it called? When you came on for those minutes, like, it was crazy, man. Seeing that, what was the feeling like? To explain the play to us, because I've seen it and I think Ishan has, but the viewers obviously probably haven't. But
so the lead up to that game was funny. It was a whirlwind of a day. It went from playing my first minutes, playing my first, scoring my first points, getting my first block, having my first interview, and then straight to Illawarra to play the next day. So it was a whirlwind of a day. But I remember because Cam Glidden was sick, and Barry had a hamstring injury. So I was looking at the team going, there's a high chance I play here. Modi pulls me to the side after shoot around and goes, all right, look, there is a good chance that you play today. I don't want to make any promises, but there is a good chance. And to me, that's okay.
Get ready.
There's a chance. I'm always going to be ready no matter what, but there's going to be a chance I play today. And after the game, he goes, I told you were going to play. It's like, no, you told me I was maybe going to play. But that was post-interview, which is quite funny. But I was ready, and they subbed Dan on, and I was like, okay, Dan's playing the 3, which means once the next sub comes, it's probably going to be me jumping in on the 2 or the 3. And I was thinking second quarter, maybe third, just for extra rest for other boys. And then all of a sudden it was, Naughty, get on.
Was it first quarter?
First quarter,
Crazy.
about the 6th minute or something.
How did that feel?
Crazy.
I remember the butterfly feeling was huge, but I just remember shirt on, sit down, forgot to call who I was subbing on. I just walked on. It was.
You had to get locked in straight away.
I was 6. There was 6 of us on the court, and the ref goes, "There's 6." I go, "Oh, Dan."
That's hilarious.
So I can't remember what the first position was, but I was running the 3 because Tommy A was injured. Cam was injured. We were running
6'3".
6 foot.
6 foot playing 3.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And Cam was sick. Barry, we were running 3 point guards to start the game, and then Barry's hamstring injury was out anyway. So we were so short staffed in terms of the combo guard /3 areas. So I was like, okay, I don't know the plays at the 3, but as a point guard, you sort of do. So
yeah.
I was fine for most of it, besides one play where I just misheard it and just did the wrong thing. But it all went really well.
Defensively, though, that's where you know what you're doing.
Defensively, I was very locked in. I was like, this is the one thing I want to make sure people know that, I can do this. And Kyle Adnam is a Australian. I'm pretty sure he's played for the Boomers. He played for the Giants, so that was really cool. And
have you met him? You met him before that?
I hadn't met him before, but we knew who each other were because of the Giants. Then we, what was it? I think just before halftime, I think I'd had about 4 possessions where either I just played defense to a T when it came to scout. He pump faked when he was trying to go for his floaters. I got under some of his screens, got over, busted through. It was just a picture perfect sort of defense from me. In that first half, and then I could tell he must have had a yelling at from his coach, like, just take the kid to the rim. And then, like, I got on, like, 3 minutes after the start of the second half, and he just went downhill right hand. He got a foul, which was a terrible call. But
don't talk about that either.
No, that's fine. I can say it was a terrible call. I don't think it was a foul, but they called a foul, so whatever. And then I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I get a message tomorrow. You ruined my career.
Go take that video. Sorry, man.
I was like, damn, foul. Sure, whatever. Go on to the next one. And he takes me downhill again. And then he goes, you're too slow to guard me. And I go, what? Did you not watch me the whole first half? And I was like, I was like, okay, you know what, fine. You have got me twice here. He hit a floater and he had a couple free throws. And I was like, damn it. So then Will McDowell White just huddles us up and he goes, all right, boys, what did he just say to you, Naughty? And I go, he just told me I'm too slow to guard him. He's like, sweet. Guys, we're going to run this and I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to go straight past him and score. And he walks up the court. We start getting into our pin action, and all of a sudden he just blows by him and he fouls him, and Will just goes and dunks it. It didn't count, but he just went and dunked it after he got fouled, and he goes, you're too slow to guard me. So they switched him off, and Brokoff started guarding him, and he's like, same play. So the whole thing happening, he just crosses Brokoff off and scores an open layup, and he just goes, you can't guard me either, and walks back. Like, yeah, that's my boy.
Bro, what? That's hilarious.
So I was like, yeah, that's my boy. He's got my back there. And then I did all right after that. I stayed reasonably locked in, and then I was up the court for a full court press. Not really, it was just me. But Foxwell had the ball, and I was talking to Tohi, who also plays for Southeast Melbourne, and he was like, in the timeout, he goes to Foxwell and goes, don't mess around with the ball. Number nine can play defense. He might steal that. And
he didn't listen.
And well, I mean, he probably did listen, but it was. He crossed in front of me, and I just left my hand out, and I stripped it, and I had the most unorthodox layup I've ever shot in my life because of how nervous I was that it was going to miss.
It up and you're like...
Because I'd already taken one layup and I'd missed, and it was a contested layup. It was in transition. I just got a steal, and I went in and out, and went outside, and just rolled out. I was like, damn. And then I think it was Kyle. Yeah, it was Kyle, and Kyle just goes, get that shit out of here. And I was like, you didn't block it. But
this Kyle Adnam guy.
Kyle's a good guy, so I don't blame him for chatting shit to me, especially as in.
You got to give shit to the rookie, surely.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, this is fair. So I just smiled at him. But like, Will's
got me. Yeah, don't worry about you, Kyle. Don't worry about me, Kyle.
Will's got me. But I went right, left, 2 foot layup. And I was like, what was that? But it went in, so I didn't really care. And then going to the end of the third quarter, we were in transition defense, and I looked up. I was like, okay, Jarrell's got Kyle at the moment because it's matched up in transition. I looked up at who was got. I was like, it's Mitch Creek.
Yeah.
And Mitch just looks at me, he goes, ball, grabs it, and he just goes straight for a left rip. And scout is that he actually goes right. So I was like, all right, I'm ready to go right, but he rips it left, and I go, oh crap. So I move my feet, and he comes to a stop. I'm like, all right, it's not bad. And he just shoots this like right in front of his face floater. I'm like, blocked. And I was like, holy shit, I just blocked Mitch Creek. And
Mitch Creek played in the NBA.
Mitch played.
You were telling me about this before.
Brooklyn Nets, everything like that. I think he also might have played the Bucks. I can't quite remember, but
it was something like that.
That's crazy.
It was something like that.
And then
first game,
I was just so elated. And then somehow we didn't grab the ball off the block because I was out of the play from getting the block, and he got the ball back and just shot this crazy like flick up shot at the end of the buzzer and just went in. But no one remembers that. Everyone just remembers that I got the block. So that's all that matters to me.
I'm with you.
Just run that in your highlight and you go to sleep,
And then I think I played a couple more minutes in the final quarter, but it was like nothing too special after that. But I was just so elated. I played 15 minutes.
That's crazy.
I was so elated. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I was looking forward to the next game. And I played 5 minutes in the next game, but
Right, it's a starting point.
I didn't really care. I got on. I was very happy. I got my first assist in the Hawks game, which was actually a reasonably nice pass to Rob, who got like a transition dunk. But that was such an elite game. And then bloody Simon, our GM, dickhead, made me do the interview afterwards.
Yeah,
he got me in the interview, and I remember the interviewer goes, so
I've listened to it.
Yeah,
I've listened to it.
Were you expecting to get many minutes this game? I was like, I don't know. I was told that I might, But, you just always got to stay locked in. And Modi, after the thing, goes, you knew you were playing. I was like, no, I didn't. You told me I might play, and I hadn't played all season.
Just be honest, man.
So there you go. And
is that the hardest part of being a professional athlete?
which part?
Like the pressure,
media
the
thing as
media, the pressure, or did it not get to you
imagine.
much? Or
It doesn't get to me much, just because I don't really care.
Yeah, fair.
Like I'm
fair.
I'm pretty laid back when it comes to that sort of stuff. Like,
It's probably a good thing as well,
oh,
right?
I mean, I think I'm quite lucky that I don't really care. Like, I do some really stupid things, and like, I'm sure everyone saw it on Crowd Goes Wild, but I mentioned bloody Robbie Coltrane died that day,
I did
and
hear that.
so I was like, shout out Robbie Coltrane, rest in love, my guy, because I mean that's Hagrid. That was my Hagrid of my childhood. That's why I was like, I've got to
Fair
mention
enough.
something. And Modi, we were joking about it walking in, and Modi just goes, Alex has something to say about Hagrid.
Stitch
And I
up.
was like,
Stitch up.
yeah, okay,
days,
fine. But
Stitch
no,
up.
I'm happy I did it because
Rest
I
in
got to
peace.
mention, yeah, rest in peace for
For
sure.
sure.
But I got a mention on the NBL overtime. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool, nice. But yeah, that was a really cool day.
I think a lot of players back at home, and Henry and I included, are really curious about your scheduling as a
Yeah.
development player for the Breakers. Like, how is your week by week scheduling going?
Well, for me, it's no different to every other player.
Right.
The only difference maybe is I might have one extra weight room session. But pre-season, it was the exact same as everyone else, and that was the most difficult. But that was when I got closest to mentally breaking down. Like, the step up between NZNBL and NBL was just it made me feel terrible at basketball. I was just like, I'm not ready for this, and that step up was just so high level that I just thought about, what, this isn't for me. But worked through it, and then finally you start getting a sort of rhythm, but you never really do get a rhythm. Isaiah Leoff is probably the best, or definitely up there in terms of the best defensive point guards in the league.
Yeah.
Will's, one of the best point guards in the league. Barry Brown is one of the hardest to guard, fastest, quickest, most shifty, greatest finishing guards in the league. So for me, it's an incredibly difficult job to go at training against those three fellas. So, I wasn't expecting to be very good, and then, you step out and you go, crap, I am bad.
Yeah.
But then you learn,
not
you go, I'm not
At
actually
least the
terrible.
motivation as well,
Oh,
right? So
yeah.
it's a mental barrier, but
Yeah.
it drives you to do more.
It took me a while to get over it, but now I'm very happy with how I'm doing. Like, I can get our team into offense. I can get a couple buckets during training. I can do my thing sometimes.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, so my week, I'll go from preseason first. My preseason, we were going 6 days a week, all in a row, which you kind of expect. That is 6 in a row because you only got 1 day off.
Yeah.
Don't know why I said
Well, I mean, but you could have the day off on a Wednesday, which mean it would be 3 and then day off and then 4.
that. Yeah,
but
3 and then 3.
3 and then 3. But
Logically,
yeah.
So we went 6 days in a row. We went 5 gym sessions, which were we'd gym at 8. We'd go 8 to 9. We'd go to the facility. We'd have individual workouts for an hour and a half, which was group sessions sort of thing. So the point guards would go together, bigs would go together. We'd do that for an hour and a half. We'd have a 30-minute break in which we'd probably watch film, or we'd have a meeting in the film room. And then after the 30-minute break, which is also smoothie time, that sort of thing, we'd go back out and we'd train for 3.5, 4 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And then
hefty.
we'd be done for the day at 4. We started at 8, sometimes 5.
Yeah.
I think we finished at 7 once.
Is that 3.5 hours like a massive team training, like
Yeah.
just running
So that
through
was-
everything
that
with the
was- that
coaches?
that was running through everything that we've got. Occasionally, well, I don't think we scrimmaged that much, but there'll be break drills, three possession games, that sort of stuff. Like, just constantly, it was tiring, and it makes me really appreciate the trainings we got now.
What is it? Is it different now?
Yeah, so now because we have games, like our schedule's different every week, because sometimes we'll be playing on a Thursday and a Saturday, or sometimes we're playing Friday, Sunday, sometimes we're playing Friday, Monday for the next week, and you can't really schedule it properly. Well, obviously, the team does, but it's hard to explain how it goes. But we will have a minimum of 3 trainings. I have a minimum of 3 weight room sessions, and then we'll have workouts after trainings, workouts before trainings. So I mean, I'm still getting a reasonable dose in, and then travel's tough.
Yeah, I was
tough.
going to ask about that. What's it like? I mean, obviously Perth's the big one.
Yeah, so I missed that one.
Yeah, actually, good on you there.
Well, it wasn't too bad because we flew to Adelaide first, and normally you don't go Adelaide, Perth.
That's long, because I heard that was a scenario with the NBLA. They were saying, why were we going from the furthest place? Do you remember that bit in the news?
Yeah, that
it was
makes sense, eh?
Yeah, it was like NBL don't want us to win.
No. I'm sure that they're doing their best.
Yeah.
But so we went to Adelaide. So it's better than going from New Zealand to Perth, but it was the travel because we fly every flight 2 stops. It's really tough for us because we'll have to get to a place.
You have to do 2 stops.
Yeah, so unless you're going to Sydney or Melbourne, everything is a two flight thing. We don't go straight
Brisbane.
to Adelaide. Don't go straight to Brisbane. Oh, well, we haven't gone to Brisbane yet, so I'm actually not sure.
Oh, really?
Isn't Brisbane like an hour away from Melbourne, though?
That's like, Brisbane's a 3.5 hour flight.
No, I think I don't know, but we probably will be flying two flights for there, and then the problem is if we're playing in Australia first, we'll be coming back we'll be going, say we were in Cairns, Melbourne, New Zealand, play the next day.
That's so rough.
Bro.
And then the worst one we had, which we still ended up getting the win, was when we played Adelaide at Trust Arena. We'd just played.
It was Tasmania, I thought.
Could have been Tasmania.
Or it was someone on like Thursday,
No.
and then it was Sunday. No, it was a Friday, Sunday, or something like that, and you had the delayed travel.
Yeah, we had incredibly delayed travel. We got in at I got home at 3:30 that morning, and we played the 4 o'clock game because it was a Sunday. That's right.
That's tragic.
Yeah, we played the 4 o'clock game, which was Sunday, which we were lucky because they gave the other team, the Australian, the earlier game, the 1 o'clock Australian time game to the other team, so that we could actually have a little bit of a rest. So thank you, NBL.
A little bit of a 4 hour
NBL's
sleep.
against you guys. I can't lie.
You don't say anything.
You don't say that. Let me say that.
Me and Ishan are on that.
Yeah, so that was tough, and we grinded out at one hell of a win.
Best one of the season?
That was probably the hardest win of the season, in terms of just odds stacked against us. So you gotta have some credit where credit's due for those boys for that one. That was awesome. But so because of last night's win, we've season swept Adelaide, which is really good, especially post the start of this season. Yeah, it was looking quite incredible. Beating the Suns is a pretty pretty
That's
big.
crazy.
We actually our first podcast was like 2 days after that, and we talked about that.
Yep.
We talked about it, and we were like, "Damn, Adelaide are making the Suns look silly."
Yeah, it was. They shot incredibly well. Like, just everyone on their team shot. Like, Craig Randall is a great American player, but after hearing the sort of stuff that's involved with that dude, it sounded like it was a bit of a tough situation for Adelaide.
That's big. But with the Breakers, obviously that's an amazing achievement. But an even bigger achievement was playing for the Tall Blacks. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Appreciate
representing your country.
Yep.
That's amazing. How did that happen? What was the selection process like? When did you find out? Who told you? Stuff like that.
So it was pretty funny. So pretty much the way it works during these windows is that there's no trials or anything for the World Cup. There's going to be a lead up, a training camp, that sort of things, where they'll figure out who they want to take. But for this one, it was okay. You make yourself available. You get sent out an email if you're sort of in the 50-ish people that might go, and you say, "Are you available? Yes or no?" Yes. Okay, sweet. So these are the dates. We'll get back to you whether or not you'll be going. And I'd say a week before we were flying, or a week and a half before we were flying, who called me? It was the manager. So yes, the
Tall
Blacks, and he goes, "Yeah, so just letting you know, you're going to be coming. You made the Tall Blacks." And
that's surreal.
Coming from the manager, you're like,
"Who are you to tell me?"
Okay, awesome. I didn't hear from PC until I saw him in Jordan.
Wow.
Sorry, not Jordan. Lebanon first. That's crazy. Which is cracking.
Was there no trainings in Auckland or anything?
No, not in Auckland. Just straight there.
fly from different
yes,
places.
everyone flew from different places. We had the New Zealand people consisted of most of the staff, besides PC and Anus, who is strength and conditioning, and then some Australian flyers, and then Taki Ferretson is in Germany at the moment. So we all came from different spots. I think PC was in Australia. Wait, where was he? I don't know. All I know is he flew in first class. Lucky dude.
Good on him. Lovely.
But yeah, so we flew Qatar Air. Had about 300 ads about the Football World Cup.
Yeah. Please come and stay, please.
Yeah.
As you do. Did you watch that, by the way?
I did. I very much enjoyed how it ended.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
That's my goat.
Was Argentina
That's your goat. That's my goat too. That's our goat.
Who are you backing?
I'm half British, so I was kind of hoping it was coming home. But if it wasn't coming home, it was definitely going to Messi because
he's the
you're
greatest
talking my
ever do it,
language.
right?
You're talking my language.
He's the greatest to ever do it. And there's
I
don't think that there's I don't think there's an argument for Ronaldo anymore.
Yeah.
I respect the dude. He's a bloody good football player. That's why he's in the conversation for GOAT. But you know, it's not really. I don't think it's really. I don't really think it's up for debate anymore.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, I agree. But that's crazy about the story. What was Jordan like, and what was Lebanon like?
So both of them were incredible in terms of
so good.
In terms of the environment that was there, when we went into the Lebanese gym, so that gym had been bombed, I think, a year before.
That's crazy.
And it just finished rebuilding, and it was concrete seats, it just makes for the sound to go even louder, and they packed it. It was awesome.
Really?
Like
best
crowd I've ever been a part of. It was not nearly as big as Spark Arena or even Taranaki in terms of numbers. It might have been Taranaki level numbers just because there were people standing, there were people bloody hanging from different spots. Like it was awesome, and they had their drums. It was quite like watching. I'm sure you've seen the video of KD when he was at one of the EuroLeague games, and they had like the smoke bombs going off and stuff. It was quite like that with minus smoke bombs. It was quite like that. They were just in love with their country, and they played really well. Like we struggled in that game. Firstly, because we'd never played together, and they'd been playing together for a while, so it's hard to beat a team, no matter the talent you've got, when someone's played together for a while and someone's not played together at all.
Yeah. Did you have loads of trainings over there? Was it a week before
so we got
games,
in
or?
2 days before the game, so we had training on... No, we didn't train the day we got in. We just had a stretching session the day we got in. But we trained twice the second day, and then we had a shoot around in the morning of the third day, and then it was game day that day. So we had 3 sessions before we played.
Yeah.
So we got to learn the plays, and that's about it. I mean, to be fair to us, we didn't play. I mean, we played terribly. We had about 20 something turnovers, and it was a nightmare. But I was very happy with how I played. I played 15 minutes, so
that's
for me that was like awesome.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I was like, I want to go back on. But it was, I think I had 5, 3 and 3. So in terms of stat line for 15 minutes, I was very happy with how I did.
Yeah, that's good.
And then the second game, offensively I played a lot better. Defensively we kind of struggled. But Jordan is beautiful. We were in the Hilton for that one, and just looking over the sea of just incredibly similar buildings, like it's almost like Greece, but I mean, I won't say it's like Greece. I've never been to Greece, but
looks like Greece.
It looks like it in terms of the buildings. You just look straight, and it just goes on as far as your eye can see. It's incredible. And then the basketball there, not as big of a crowd, but definitely matching as loud. It was a lot bigger of an arena, so it was quite difficult to match the intensity that the crowd brought. But it was an awesome experience playing there as well.
Yep. That's crazy. But another question I've got is best player you've played with. I want to know why and who, and maybe even played with or played against. Like,
I can give you my played against.
Yeah, give me that.
So under 17 Oceania, I played against Josh Giddey.
Wow.
True.
and Giddy was just starting to find his form. He'd just started at NBA Academy, and his level, his IQ was just so high. He wasn't a shooter yet properly. He still hit 4 or 5 threes against us in both games, but I remember watching film back on it. I still watch it. We were showing him because we wanted to get the ball out of his hands, but all he'd do is you'd sit on his hip because he's 6'7". It's quite hard to guard him as a guard. But he gave a jab. You start to get over the screen and push up with him. He'd just bring the ball up. His player would short roll, hit the short roll. We had a last man, but we didn't have rotations post last man, so they'd just cut the corner guy. Easy buckets there. I think he ended with 26, 8 and 7 in the first game, and then the final he had 28, 6 and 5 or something ridiculous. And it was masterclass that he put on. We weren't very good, so I'm not surprised he put a masterclass on. But he's definitely the best player I've played against. And best player I've played in terms of their performance in one game. I'd say that's actually a tough one.
Give me time to think about it.
Yeah, I'll take some time.
If you want to skip to the person that if you want to skip to the person
I played with.
Yeah.
I think in terms of credentials, it would go to Jarrell.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of NBA time, just his resume. But I'd say Jared West for the Giants last year.
He was the
He got Defensive Player of the Year. They gave it to Xavier Cooks, and Xavier Cooks is about to be the MVP of the ANBL as well. So I can't blame them for that.
He did get MVP, Xavier Cooks got
MVP for NZNBL season, which I thought, if there's someone that Jared West gets beaten out by, that's fine. But I thought Jared West deserved it myself as a teammate. It's sort of what
you got to back your boy.
Yeah. He had a stint in China. He had a stint in Germany. Now he's in Greece. He's been jumping around, but he was so good. Offensively, super smart, could shoot the three, but defensively just locked up.
Yeah.
I remember that the Giants put a video about him getting Defensive Player of the Year, and they just put some clips that they got at training, and it was literally a highlight reel of me having the ball stolen off me at training. It was ridiculous. It was 7 clips of me getting stripped, and I was like, what? This is throughout the whole year.
Been stitched up.
I've been yeah, exactly.
Why? I
messaged the Giants afterwards, who posted this? Whose idea was this? They're like, oh, sorry, we just found all the clips that he got steals. It's like,
just happened to be against you.
It just so happened to be against me, and that was throughout the whole year. There was 7. It's not like I had 7 turnovers in one training, but maybe I don't know. Dude was just a clamp, and I think in terms of at the time, he was definitely the best player I've played with. Barry Brown's up there.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about the guys this year?
The boys in the NBL are just, they're next level players. DP's next level big. Jarrell's a crazy good a power forward, but also he shoots the three. He knows how to play defense. He's athletic enough to play against guards and bigs. He's just an all round
menace.
Yeah.
Society.
Then you've got Barry, who's just offensively and defense. He's got the potential to be the best defensive guard in the league for sure, in terms of his power, strength, and quickness. He's faster than Bryce Cotton, who's probably the second fastest person in the league. He just needs to make sure he stays locked in at all times so he doesn't get backdoored. That's why we call him Backdoor Barry.
Backdoor Barry.
But then Will McDowell-White, I think that is the person I'd say, if I'm not saying, because I played with Jared. I play with at training, these boys, which is why I'm not really using them. But Will McDowell-White is probably the player. If I wanted to be a player in my future, I want to be Will McDowell-White. He's just ridiculously good.
Yeah.
IQ, passing. He's a pass first guard, but
shooting.
Dude can get a bucket, man. He can get a buck. But that's probably them.
Fair enough. I think bringing it back to more personal love for the game as well. Growing up, who was your favorite kind of player and team to support? It's a very generic
Yeah,
question.
who's your
everyone-
NBA team?
everyone
I
wants
like
to know.
I like this one because I also have a story for this one. So
They love a story.
it took I do love a story.
That's why you're here, mate.
It took me a while to come to basketball, and the first thing I watched of basketball, and I have a lot of hate for this actually, but I watched Thunderstruck. I don't know if you've seen the movie.
I
haven't
know what you're
personally.
talking about. I do know what
The
you're talking
Kevin
about.
Durant movie where he loses his powers to a high school kid, and then they end up giving them back.
This is a
and
horrible movie, by the way.
It's a terrible.
Is it-
it's
is
a
it
great
terrible?
movie. It's a great movie, but it's a terrible movie.
It's like one of those.
And it was my old. I bought it on iTunes. I remember, or
Wait, so when was
iMovie or
this?
whatever it is. This is just before I started playing basketball, whatever year it came out or something like that. And I just remember being like, man, that dude is so unlucky. He lost his powers. Clearly, I wasn't smart enough to figure out that you can't lose powers for basketball. But
Kevin Durant.
Kevin
Was
Durant, man.
It was OKC
He-
times, right?
OKC.
Yeah.
So
Mate, and I'm an
after
OKC
watching
fan.
that,
I'm an OKC fan.
I have been an OKC fan.
Oh, tell me
Through-
about
Uh,
it.
through and
enough,
through.
enough.
Yes, sir.
For the last, I think it's about 12 years of supporting OKC now.
Mate, I was gonna say get
that,
him.
because playing against Josh Giddey, that would have been
Yeah.
surreal then, right?
Well, at the time,
Oh,
he
at the
wasn't
time
a
he
Thunder
wasn't,
fan.
but like
yeah,
looking
yeah.
back onto it,
Yeah, looking back on it, I'm like, nice.
playing against the Thunder.
Mate,
Crazy.
I was gonna say get him on the pod, but he's already on the pod.
And
'cause
I've
he's
met
an
S-
OKC fan.
I
What a
met
guy.
Steven.
You met
Adams.
Steven.
Yeah, Steve-O's.
Did you go to the Stephen Adams
yeah,
camps?
I went to the Steven
We-
Adams
oh, yeah.
camps. It's so buzzy. Like when you start talking to friends, like Isaiah, who lived in Wellington. Oh no, Tommy V is probably the best one to talk about. Tommy V played with him, and he's like, yeah, Steve's a pretty good guy. It's like, yeah, Steven Adams.
He is the guy.
Was Steven
Yeah.
Adams your favorite player growing up because he is that Kiwi, like Kiwi role
No,
model? or?
yes. I mean, in terms of my undying support for the fact he was a Thunder player and he was a Kiwi.
Yeah, Henry's backing you on that.
Like,
I'm so
that,
with you
like
on
that
this.
was 100% like one of my all-time.
For sure.
He will forever be one of my all-time favorite players,
I
like
think
a
for every
Kiwi in the
Kiwi
NBA. Yeah,
fan as well.
but KD has always been up there. I don't even care that he moved. Like obviously, I hated the fact he moved. But
Yeah, I agree.
I supported him when he was on the Warriors. I support him on the Nets. I just want to see him win because I really like him.
Arguably
I
the
think-
best scorer of all time.
Arguably the best. Yeah, I think.
Arguably,
A walking bucket.
I think.
He's a
I
walking
think.
bucket.
Yeah. In terms of best scorer ever, he's definitely in the conversation. So arguably, yes. I think he's just the most versatile scorer ever.
yeah.
I think that's one that you can't say anyone else is. Like, no one else. I mean, Victor may come in and just,
What are your thoughts on
Trample
that?
that.
Yeah,
Victor
we've talked
Wembanyama?
about him
What are
on-
your
we've talked
thoughts?
about him on
'Cause
here.
we
I
love
think-
this
7'3",
conversation.
KD.
I think it's
He's
ridiculous.
not 7'3". He's taller than 7'3".
Is he taller than
Uh,
7'3"?
Because how tall is Chet?
I think he's got like a.
I think Chet's 7'1", ain't he?
7'1". Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got him on my. I got him Chet on. What's that?
I've got him on the
Pirtle.
back of my new
On
jersey.
Pirtle. He was the fastest one. I haven't had a single.
The Pirtle game?
Yeah, Pirtle. You guys play Pirtle?
I've played Pirtle.
of course.
Yeah.
okay.
So the first guess I always
This
always
is
go
time
for
ago,
is
This started last year.
Nikola Jokic. So not Jokic. Vucinic. He's always the one I start with.
Vucinic?
I'm waiting for him to be the first one I get. But I've had a couple where I've hit it in two, and I've been really proud. And Chet was one of them. I looked at it and I was like, he's a West. He's taller than 6'10". He's not a centre, which tells me he's probably a centre forward area type
Power forward,
thing.
yeah.
And his number's just below 9. And I got Chet, and I was like, yes, yes, that was
That's
me.
my highlight.
That's me.
Come on.
No, it's good. I'm with you.
But Victor,
OKC Thunder.
yeah,
is
Victor,
What a team. What a team.
yeah, it's a great team, and I like where we're going.
Rebo's looking good.
I mean, shit, we got so many picks, it's not funny.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Bro,
Shay's
he's
tough.
unreal.
What?
Shay's tough.
not
He's
not
tough.
MVP,
Nah, I know,
but
I'm
All
just
NBA
saying that,
surely.
like,
I think
Has to
100% All NBA,
100%.
probably All NBA
Second.
3 or
I don't know if he
2.
cracks the second team. third team,
he's got to be
definitely.
consistent the whole year. If he
Yeah,
plays
he's
like
got-
he's
he's
going
got-
to at the
averaging,
moment,
like, what,
yeah. Well, he's
30
like
plus
the
points a
third
game?
highest
Yeah.
averaging points at the moment.
I think
Ridiculous.
so. I looked at the NBA's MVP rankings that just came out, and it goes Jokic first, which cracks me up. It's like
I love that guy.
I
He's
just
such
do
a
not
J.
I do not see any of his stuff. I never see anything about him except like
That's
a
so
pass
true.
that he makes, or like his stat line at the end, which is like 30, 12, and 10 or something, and it's like yeah, okay, cool. And then it's like
Do you not think he
What the hell?
deserves
When's
pay?
the last time you watched the
that's
Nuggets
not-
game?
it's- yeah, like it's not what I'm saying. Is
Oh,
more,
yeah.
more what I'm saying is he does it so under the radar, and it's so good that like
Yeah.
you look at the MVP rankings, you're like, what the hell? What's
And
Jokic
the
done?
Nuggets are the first in the
Yeah.
West right now as well.
They are.
Yeah.
They
That's
are.
crazy.
So
It's
that's probably a big
Yeah.
thing about it.
And then the second was
My boy
it was
Jason, right?
JT.
He's a
and
Celtics
then,
fan.
Big Celtics fan.
Okay.
That's where it ends.
And then
I'll leave it now, guys, alright.
Giannis was third, I think. So
Which is crazy. Luka's not even in top
Exactly.
2.
That's
Ridiculous.
what I was about to get
That's
at.
so wild. This guy dropped one of the greatest single performance games we've ever seen in modern basketball. And
Yeah.
he's not even cracking top 3.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
after that, dropped the 50 piece.
yeah,
Are you serious?
it's buzzy, but I mean, Russ, obviously one of my all-time favorite players.
My
as
favorite
well,
all-time
That's
player.
Henry's favorite player.
My favorite all-time player.
had that season where he won MVP in 2017, and it was, we came sixth. The Thunder came sixth. He dragged us to the sixth, but that was the lowest any MVP's been. What are the Mavericks at right now? I think they're.
Oh, they're lower than that. They're
Yeah.
like 11 or
Yeah, I
like
think
10.
that's-
I don't think
I don't know if they're. Yeah,
Oh, they may be like 8.
because they
like
have
eight.
won a
they're
few
like
games.
Nah,
around
but I thought they were quite low. I thought I saw them in 10th.
The Mavs,
or
the
something.
Mavs aren't good. I mean, actually, they're playing right now as well.
They're playing
Yeah.
right now against
And
the
Luka's
Thunder.
not even playing.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really care if we lose or win. To be fair, this year.
Well, I was
50,
thinking, are we
50
going
you
to
guys
tank?
tank. Imagine you have 2 7-footers
don't-
running around.
Yeah,
That would
the
be
only thing about
crazy.
I'd love it, but the only thing about that is do you tank and then pick up Victor, and the problem about picking up Victor is you've now got
Chet and
and Victor.
But you know,
like,
Scoots
are
is
you,
such a good fit as well, I think.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
we could take
Scoot's
Scoot.
nice.
Yeah.
He's
You could, because if you
Yeah.
come second, you go, oh yes, damn, I've got Scoot.
Oh, wow. Scoot handed.
yeah, that
Unlucky.
post of the a couple of days ago was
Crazy, right?
ridiculous.
All right, we got some quick fire questions to
All right.
finish this off. We'll keep along the same lines about the basketball, and go LeBron or MJ. Come on now.
It's neither. It's going to be neither.
It's not neither. It is
Oh,
LeBron.
Okay.
Oh, LeBron.
LeBron.
He's
It's
an
LeBron.
Addison would be loving this.
You know what? I think it is because of like.
I'd
growing
like to.
up in
I'd
this
like.
generation.
I'd like to hear what you guys have to say.
See, I'm gonna be really, really dodgy and say it. I don't know. Like I think it could be either, because it's different eras. It's different. LeBron could probably do it in that era. MJ could probably do it in this era.
right?
You can't, comparing them is. I think MJ.
Okay.
I've watched enough of LeBron. Like, of course, I think he. I don't know how good MJ is, because I never watched him, right? But the way the rings, the winning mentality, stuff like that is different to, like, LeBron's not like that. He's as close as you ever get to that, but he's not what MJ did.
Closest you ever get.
Yeah,
to,
closest you ever get
closest
to.
you ever get to Jordan is Kobe
Yeah, I think
in
so.
terms
the
of
mentality
winning,
wise.
in terms of
100%.
mentality and winning.
100%, I agree with the LeBron. Like, nowadays, he's 38 and he's still doing
But
it.
what
like,
I think about the winning is, like, you look at LeBron's teams. I know he had his big three with Sebosh and D Wade.
Yeah,
With the
but,
Cavs
I
team
mean,
as well, right? Like, everyone's saying that he did it
Yeah,
by
I mean,
himself, but
okay, let's not say by himself.
that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think he did.
I
but-
don't think he did it by himself, but I also don't think that K-Love and Kyrie equal what the Bulls had. And that could be a hot take, but I mean, I think I'm taking Dennis Rodman over K-Love personally,
Yes.
Oh,
especially at that
100%.
point in his career. And then Scottie Pippen is supposedly the greatest two to ever, like the greatest second man to
Yeah,
ever
MJ
play.
did have
Yeah.
help. 100%.
I'm not saying MJ didn't have help, and I'm not saying that MJ had help as well, but I'm trying to say that is Kyrie more impactful than Scottie Pippen was for the Bulls?
These must be quick fire questions,
Yeah.
by the way. But
Sorry,
that's
sorry.
all
No,
good.
don't
You're all
worry.
good. I'd
Do
rather
not
say-
worry about this.
Just to continue on, what was your who was your
I'm
goal?
gonna say MJ.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say MJ, but
Yeah, I think I'm in the middle, but I'm leaning
you know,
towards MJ.
it's one of those things where it like changes every like
Yeah,
second
'cause
week kind of thing. I
Every
don't
day
know.
you see an MJ, you see a LeBron 40 piece when he's 30, and they go, "Oh my God, he's still doing this at 38." Man.
MJ might be the worst owner of all time. Though.
that definitely.
That's pretty bad.
I think
What's the NBL guys you've spoken to take on it?
so.
Oh yeah, you were saying this.
Yeah.
Earlier.
So okay, so you'll get a lot of. So my NZNBL teammates were all Michael Jordan.
Right.
One was from Chicago, so that's far too biased. So I didn't listen to anything he said. One is delusional, and that's Jay West. And the only thing I ever agreed with him on is that Steph Curry is a top 10 player of all time. and that's no question.
Best shooter of all time.
Best shooter of all time. So
Hold on. Why are you deflecting top 10 player?
No,
of all time?
No.
okay.
He is a top 10.
Okay,
He is a top 10.
Okay.
I
I was going to say you didn't
best shooter
agree.
of all time.
I
a
think
bigger-
he's top 10, but I think he's closer to 10.
He is close to 10 than he is 1.
He's definitely closer to 10 than he is. Oh, yeah. I think he's smack dab in the middle right now. I think he's just reached 5.
5 is crazy.
5 is crazy high, I reckon.
Ooh,
Not
okay.
crazy high, but I think 7. 7's likely.
1 and 2 are already taken.
Yep.
Yeah.
1 and 2 are already taken.
And
Who have you got 3, 4, and 5?
Well, I've got Kobe 3.
You've got Kobe at 3?
I don't think.
I think Kobe's top 10, but he's on the
I
lower
think
end.
Kobe's on the lower end as well. If you're gonna put
I think
Curry the lower
Shaq
end,
and Kobe are 2 incredibly good players, obviously.
Shaq, I'm not putting Shaq in.
But Shaq is in my top 10 as well.
Yeah, but he's
He's on the lower end as well. I think
But
I've
I
got
think
Kobe
Steph
and
is
Shaq at
closer
like
to
8
10
and
I
9.
think you put Curry over Kobe.
I've got Curry over Kobe as well.
I think so with that one.
But
to
I've
be
got
honest,
what's this called? Curry's closer.
and I've got Kobe over Shaq.
Curry's like 6, 7.
Yeah, I can back a 6.
Curry is like Curry is 6 or 7 in the top 10. He's not. He's not. He's not lower than 5. He's not 5. I don't think he's lower than 5. Curry.
No, I don't think he's lower than 5 either.
I've mentioned Kobe,
Kareem,
Shaq. Kareem is above.
Larry.
I've got
Larry Bird.
Magic Johnson below.
Yeah,
Larry Bird's below.
That's
Below
crazy.
10. You've got like 6 below 10.
No, not below 10.
Yeah.
Behind Curry. So if this is probably ridiculous, and this is all in my opinion, obviously, but I've got 1, 2, 3 being Kareem. I need to think of 4.
Wilt was he anywhere near that?
See,
is he anywhere near?
I would have.
Tim Duncan, Larry Bird.
Yeah.
No, Tim Duncan and Larry Bird are not
Mr.
above
Fundamental?
Curry. Yeah, I mean he's an all-time winner for sure, but I don't think he's better than Curry.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I think I'm
that's
forgetting
why-
maybe a bit about Curry's championships
His
recently and stuff
resume
like
is
that,
ridiculous. His
He,
shooting prowess is ridiculous.
we did
The
say
way
he's the best
changed it.
shooter
Yes,
of
you
all
did.
time. We did.
I mean,
We
that's
did say
not a
that.
question to
No,
be fair.
No,
but-
that's pretty
Well,
simple.
I mean, I've heard people say that he's not the greatest shooter.
I mean,
people are stupid.
yeah, those people are
Yeah.
stupid.
They're just dumb.
I
Let's be real,
don't
come
care
on.
about their opinion.
Yeah,
I think
fair.
he's reached that feat like at least a couple of years ago now, so I don't think it's a question anymore.
And after this 4th championship, this is 4th, right?
Yeah.
Fourth, yeah.
For a second, I was like, "You're predicting the Golden State Warriors to win another one this year," and I was like,
No, I've still got pretty reasonable hopes for them.
I mean,
"Reasonable," but I don't think they're winning a chip. I think they're like
Who is winning the chip this year?
Celtics. I think the Bucks got it. To be honest, I don't know.
You reckon the Bucks got it?
Maybe. Well, you know the
I'm not
Nets
even
are
gonna talk
looking
about
so
my
good.
prediction.
Yeah,
The
I'm
Nets
not
are
Nets-
looking nice.
The Nets have won 12 straight.
not anymore. I
Did
think.
they lose?
I think they lost.
They
Yeah.
lose recently, but they're looking nice.
I'm not gonna say who my prediction is. This guy's gonna laugh at me.
I know. I'd like to hear it.
No, because we had our NBA prediction.
yeah,
we had
we
an
did do
NBA
predictions,
prediction
yeah.
podcast before the season started.
Okay.
With our
What
boys.
was
and
your original prediction?
My original prediction is this was before the season.
Yeah.
It's actually not even that bad looking at the
Looking
table and
back
stuff.
at it now, it made sense at the time.
It made sense at the time. I looked at the 76ers team and I thought they were going to go quite far. And I thought they were going to win the chip.
They're still in
Embiid, Harden, Tyrese
Except
Maxey,
Harden
who
wants out right now.
The same
Yeah.
thing. I looked at the
Yeah.
Clippers team, and you look, that's like one of the deepest,
Oh, man.
deepest rosters.
I used to believe in the Clippers
No,
sometimes.
I don't believe in it
I don't.
anymore
I
either.
don't believe in them.
Kawhi's way
whatsoever.
past it, man.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
no, the
bro,
great thing
they're
about-
just so injury prone, both Kawhi and Paul. It's
Yeah.
like
The great thing about Kawhi is he'll play one game every 15 games and he'll hit a game winner on all of them. It's like
One of the fadeaway mid-range.
just mid-range fadeaway. 15 games later, same exact shot to win the game again. It's like, all right, thanks Kawhi. We'll see you in 15 games.
He's injury prone. We'll go to another question because we're going to be
Yeah, we'll
here
keep
all
these
day.
quick
Oh,
fire
this next
questions.
Oh,
question.
there's
That's a good one.
posterize someone or snatch someone ankles.
Posterize someone.
Ooh, yep, fair. Game-winning 3 or game-winning steal?
Game-winning 3. You can't.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the opposite.
I'm 100%. I'm a like. I've
thought-
had a game-winning steal before, and it feels awesome. But you know,
Game-winning
you're
3 is
hitting a
different,
3?
I guess that's different.
yeah, it's pretty
like
mental.
you've just won the game on from you shooting and the ball going in the hole. Like
Exactly.
for me,
Yeah.
that feels like you can't really beat that.
Bit more personal. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Good man. Good man.
Xbox or PS4?
PS5.
You have
Fair.
PS5.
Fair.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got one. I did a
Actually, you know what? You were saying before you were a bit of a gamer yourself.
yeah.
So
Big time.
what games are you playing right now?
So I got a PS5 from doing a PlayStation event, which
Don't
was a
go for
2K tournament. Yeah. Which the only reason I have one is because of that, because you cannot find them. I mean, supposedly the shortage is over, but
I haven't found one since. So.
Yeah, no leaming, bro. They'll come with a game as well. You should consider it.
Ooh.
Not that I'm.
No leaving. Sponsor us.
Yes, please do. Okay, so for me, I play on PC most of the time, but I have 2K23 and FIFA 23 on PS5. I've got Hogwarts Legacy when it comes out. I've already pre-ordered it on both the PS5 and
He's a
PC.
Harry Potter man.
I'm gonna have Jedi Survivor on PS5.
For sure.
I can't play it on the PC. It's just I don't like mouse and keyboard for those sort of
FPS
games.
or?
Yeah, so on PC I play Valorant. I've started playing Overwatch 2.
You know what? I'm a seasoned vet at that game.
He's a seasoned
Ex
vet.
top 100 player.
I need help. I still
Bro.
haven't won enough games to get into comp yet.
I got you. I'll carry you. I will.
Done.
I promise you. We'll
You
get
download Valorant and I'll help
We'll play
of.
some Valorant as well?
Yeah.
We'll run a duo
Done.
going. You know what?
Done.
Easy.
I also play Fortnite.
For sure. Who doesn't?
That's probably my best game, which is depressing, but it's also, I mean, I'm pretty bloody good at it.
I mean, back to that last guy,
I
think
will
everyone's
say
good.
this statement right now, and I want everyone to hear it. I am the best Fortnite player in Australia and New Zealand when it comes to professional basketball players.
Ooh, you know what?
That's not a bad take. I thought you were just going to say you're the best.
Yeah, come on,
God,
you guys
no.
chatting absolute
God,
rubbish.
And I was going
Okay,
to
this season, have a guess at what my KD is in squads.
Okay, I haven't played Fortnite in like
I don't
a
even
year.
know
Let's
what's like a
say,
good
nah,
one
okay,
at the
let me
moment.
think.
I'll just have two guesses from each, or
Let's
one
go
guess
for,
from each.
what's
year.
like an average kill game?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
like 7?
Okay, you've got
7
seven.
or 8
Seven's
maybe?
yeah, seven's pretty good. That's my solo one actually.
Oh,
well, then I'm going to say 9.
9. Okay,
I'm
so
gonna say 9.
I'm gonna give you one more guess each, and I'm gonna give
Surely
you a little.
squads can't be less than what is.
oh,
Okay, no, hold on. I'll give you a hint though. So if you win a game, you don't technically die, and we're talking about KD here. I've won.
so
I have
back to
played.
back and-
I've got a 25% win rate in squads.
That's
With who?
That's an unreal win rate, 25%. Okay, let's go.
With who?
Yeah, you've
Oh,
got
basketball teammates.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Are
Yeah,
any of them any good?
we all play. We've got some good players.
Who's good? Who's good?
Ooh.
Give us
Yeah,
a
what's
name.
your go-to
Okay, so-
starting
Who's
four
just
for the Fortnite?
starting
If
four?
I was
Well,
to give a
starting 3 because you've.
my
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm in there for sure. If I was to say who Isaiah Liafa,
Oh yeah.
he'll give me a good 6 kills in a game, which is all I need from him.
Good role player.
Yeah, great role player.
Not on the court.
He's,
He's an even better star.
Yeah, he's a
mate.
superstar, that's for sure. But great role player in terms of Fortnite. He's got he's got reasonable aim. We don't play builds. We've given up on builds.
See, I'm that kind of guy. I'm no build.
I used to be a builder, but
Fair.
now I've just been like, no one can stop me in no builds.
So you're like a
I
backdoor
can't
sniper?
give it to Danny D's. Danny Doolins is not getting it. That's Dan Fotu for
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Sorry mate, you're tragic.
We're getting them all on the pod, so
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
going to be listening.
I don't care. Dan, you suck. He doesn't jump online anymore either. He's clearly figured out. My Giants teammates played a lot as well. Barry Brown. He's
he
up
good?
there. He can play. He's a Warzone player, but I got him on Fortnite a couple times and he's pretty good. So I'll give him 2. So I need 1 more.
So
Oh,
Barry
Ruben Tarangi. He's not my teammate, but dude used to play cash cups with Tippene.
True.
And
Jeepers.
he's pretty good. I'm not sure if he still plays
So Ruben
anymore, but I'll take
Tarangi,
him.
Barry Brown Jr. and Will
Isaiah
McDowell.
Liafa.
Oh no, not
Will
Will.
would be terrible. He doesn't play video games, but
Oh,
Isaiah, yeah.
So that's the go.
That would be if I could have all 4 of them. If I could have all 4 of us playing, I think we'd have a 75% win rate. But
That's a crazy stake. That's outrageous.
This guy.
but okay, now that you've heard that, what do you think my squad's KD is?
I think it's. I'm
Let's go
bumping
15.
up
I'm
to
gonna
my-
shoot for the over.
Nah,
Let's go
nah,
15.
nah,
15?
I'm going.
You go for the under.
I'm going
Over under 15.
It's either-
over under 15. What's the money line looking like?
under just 13. I'm going.
You're on 13.
I'm going
Okay.
13 and a
I'll go
half.
15.
13
Okay.
and a half.
Well, you're both wrong.
No, it's over.
It's over.
Bro, that's crazy.
I have a 34.5 KD.
Nah,
I have
proof.
no idea if that's good or not.
So
I
You
haven't
need
played.
proof?
after we post this, you're gonna send us when you
I'll
go
send-
home.
I'll
You're gonna
send-
send
I'll
us a KD,
Well, we'll post it on the Instagram.
and we're gonna post it on the Instagram. Maybe a couple days
I hope
after
it's
it.
still the same.
He's going to Fortnite tracker and
I've
double
got
check.
Fortnite tracker.
He's gonna check right now. That's
Fortnite.
crazy.
Okay, well, we'll. Oh no, we got a couple more questions.
One final. Oh, we can do a couple more quick fire
Yeah,
A
questions.
couple more will do.
Couple quick fire ones. Keyword quick fire.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and keep it quick.
What's your?
It's good.
No,
it's
you're
good.
good.
I'm
bro.
joking.
Don't
I'm
worry,
joking.
chill.
Don't worry about it.
What's your go-to pre-game meal?
Pasta.
Well, when we're on the road, we always
Chicken
get
and
spaghetti
rice.
bolognese.
Really?
So that's normally my go-to, especially on the road. On the road, that's all we get. So, that or wraps. We get wraps sometimes. But if I'm at home, it's tomato on toast.
Tomato
on top?
Yep.
Just
tomato
butter?
sauce or like tomato?
No, tomatoes, like cut up
Butter?
tomatoes. Butter, of course, yeah.
Butter, then just tomato.
Interesting.
Chapter 4,
Squash? Or just like...
Just straight
no,
tomato.
It's gone up, guys.
It's not... Nah,
No,
show
it
me.
surely
It's
has.
47.5 now.
That's like half the lobby.
Yep.
Who do you play against? Like bots?
I wish it would be even higher.
Fair.
Damn. I don't remember playing squads recently.
Unreal.
I've got a 63% win rate now. That's why it's so high.
Maybe you got a new professional career ahead of you. Fair
No,
enough.
I've tried.
You're not that
before.
good.
I've tried
Come on
that
now.
before.
You did a bit of streaming as well, right?
Yeah, so I do a bit of streaming. What was one of my most recent ones was I streamed every game that I owned until I completed all of them. Not like completed, but like either finished a mission or won a game. So it was pretty much I don't stop until I've won every game that I've got. So if it was
in one sitting.
yeah, in one sitting.
That's
It took me
outrageous.
6.5 hours, I think. But it was.
You're a freak.
Yeah. It was so like games like I have GTA, you had to complete a mission type thing. If it was Valorant, you had to win a game. If it was Fortnite, you had to win a game. If it was Overwatch, you had to win a game, but that was fine because I
You
could
was
still
that
only
good,
play.
right?
I could only play quick play, so
okay.
it was very easy. You just had to get good teammates. I play as Agent 76, by the way, because I know how to aim, but I don't know how to use any
You play
abilities.
soldier, fair.
Nerd talk, sorry, mate.
No, I'm a good
Henry's
one.
not a bit of this. I can't lie.
I'm not one to play those games.
Do you stream on Twitch?
Yeah. So I have a Twitch, and every year it's funny because I'll go through phases of streaming because I just like watching my stuff back sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Just does it for his own. Just
oh
watches
yeah,
it.
bro, I have like 6 people watch me, and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I've got 6 people watching me. How good? But it's mainly so I can just watch my shit back. It's very funny sometimes.
Fair enough. So where can people find you on Twitch?
Oh, here we go. Now we're plugging it.
You gotta
So
plug it now.
I've got an Instagram for it as well.
No way.
But
We'll
it's
plug it.
it's
Hang on.
XX McNaughty XX. Don't question the XXs.
Actually, this guy's a true gamer. Fair enough.
That was the original. So it's just stayed as that because it's easiest.
fair.
It would be McNaughty, but McNaughty was already taken. So
That's a classy name, you know, McNaughty.
yeah,
I
just
do like
took a
that.
Y on the end of my last name. It's great.
Favorite hobby other than basketball?
We've kind of already talked
Gaming.
about it, I guess. Yeah.
Gaming? Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I thought. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say water polo, but
Yeah,
obviously you don't.
I do wish I
Do you
still
still
played.
play water polo?
No,
or-
I haven't.
Every
been
time you
able
get in
to
the
play
water,
it.
do you get a
Oh,
ball
every
around
time
and stuff like
I
that?
don't bring a ball, but every time I get in the water, I will do some egg beater. I'll jump out the water and then I'll challenge my friends to go in the deep end and try and touch the flags
Oh, yeah.
without touching the ground. So you got to try and jump out of the water and up and touch the flags. None of them could do it. It's awesome.
That's like...
It's pretty difficult. And the problem about me for water polo was I'm going to get into another story. I'm too small to play goalie. I'm 6 foot. Most of them like 6'8".
Real.
Yeah.
Most goalies are 6'8", did you say?
It's a 3 meter goal, and I've only got I've got a 6'2" wingspan, so it's not really going to do the trick most of the time. So I had to play angles, play it on my goal a lot, and when you play out of your goal, you get lobbed a lot. So
Like just a little chip over your hands.
like when you hold triangle in FIFA and the goalie starts coming out, chip. I
Just
just
a
learned
chip
how to do that, guys. I just learned how to do that in FIFA.
To bring a goalie out.
Yeah, no, not bring the goal.
Oh,
I knew how to bring the
a bit
goal
of a left
out
bumper
to
triangle to chip.
chip.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Fair
I
enough.
really needed it.
All right. Well, that's going to do us on this episode
Perfect.
of the Sideline Yarns podcast. Alex, thanks for coming on. Appreciate
Anytime,
it.
mate.
Good luck for the rest of the season in your career ahead.
Appreciate it.
I'm sure we will have you back on talking about your gaming career.
I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
career.
But don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all of the above. But yeah, until then, we'll catch you on the sideline.